Happy fall equinox and eclipse season. So maybe you've been hearing that term eclipse season thrown around a lot, and this term is describing an astrological time that happens twice a year when either the new moon or the full moon align with the lunar nodes in the sky. And if you're curious to understand more about the physics behind the eclipse season and what the lunar nodes are, then you can check out the full blog I've written on this eclipse season down below. And for this video, I'm really going to focus on how to navigate this astrological energy and what's being called into play here, and kind of the more practical astrological interpretation rather than the details. So if you're interested in learning more about the lunar nodes, then definitely visit the link below and read my full blog. So this eclipse season is calling in the cusp of Pisces, Aries, and Virgo, Libra. These are polarized points in the zodiac, so opposite signs. A lot of astrologers shared this last partial lunar eclipse to be in between the Pisces-Virgo axis, but really the lunar nodes are still in the beginning parts of Aries Libra, and so we're just really working with this cusp area. And I do read and interpret cusps as energy transforms from one thing to another. We really have this blending of energy that this eclipse season is calling into play right now. And eclipse season, as explained in my full blog, is really highlighting the lunar nodes are our soul path to growth and evolution. During eclipse season, there's a cosmic thread woven through the fabric of reality that's tugging at this deeper layer of our soul. And what we're doing here in this life, what life means to us, this kind of reckoning with our own soul and this sense of purpose that we have or don't have. And so that's kind of been alive recently with this time. Perhaps there's just been a deeper unsettled feeling you've had, a questioning around what's next for you, knowing that what you've been doing is not going to work for the future and needing to make a change. And all of these things are definitely in line with eclipse season, sometimes very subtly. You know, some of us have more transformative eclipse seasons. It can also really depend on your natal chart, the dynamics of your lunar nodes. You know, when you were born, where were the lunar nodes? This really shows your path to growth and evolution. And how those placements are interacting with the current placements can all really color this energy in a specific way. But this Pisces, Aries cusp and Virgo, Libra cusp is really touching on this really cool energy of stepping into a new identity. And there's an interesting, with this solar eclipse coming into play in the beginning of October, there's this interesting other astrological dynamic that's taking place where Mercury is actually going to be in alignment with this placement as well. Mercury, from its retrograde chapter back in August, is now, so it basically retrograded past the sun and is now catching up, and it's going to catch up on this solar eclipse that's taking place in the beginning of October. And so this really calls in some things that might have been in play in your life in August. So I want you to think back in August when the Mercury retrograde was taking place. If you had any insights come in around your life, maybe you started thinking about things in your life a little differently. Maybe things started to, you started processing information in a different way in terms of like, wow, maybe this job isn't quite as suited for me as I thought, or maybe I'm not quite as happy here as I thought I was, or you know, I just feel really invited to explore this new area of my life. Or maybe new information came into your field. Maybe you started a new project and things were revealed in terms of information around like what you actually want to do with that project. And anyways, like think back August. And Mercury specifically deals with information processing. And this can look like communication, how we make meaning of our world, how we assimilate information to mean certain things. And so if there was something stirring in you around your own perspective around your life and things in your life, that's definitely being called in. And kind of we're like reckoning with these things that maybe started us, we seeded at the Mercury retrograde are now coming around to be manifested or materialized, or we take action around them, taking action around them. And so just think that, pull it in here. And the North Node is in Aries, about 5 degrees Aries, give or take a few degrees. It depends on the astrological software, and the settings could be off a couple degrees depending on the astrologer. If you're working with specific degrees, some people do. And so this area of Aries is like, it is stepping into a new sense of self. It is letting ourselves experience a new identity of who we are. And so if there's been this truer version of you bubbling underneath the surface over these last couple of months, maybe through some things that happened in August, coming to the surface, and now you're ready to be like, I'm a different person now. I'm stepping into this new sense of self. And when I say identity, it could be something concrete, like, I am now a writer. Or it could be something like, I'm more confident. I'm done with my people pleasing qualities. And now my identity is as someone who is more confident and self-sure, and has direction. Or, so identity can be a wide variety of things, but it's really stepping into a new sense of self. And when you do this is what calls in the polarized point of the zodiac. When you do this, the roles that you're playing to other people now change. When people know you to be a certain way and in a certain identity, they know how to relate to you in that sense. You changing that is going to shift your relationship. This Libra South Node, beginning stages of Libra, is about, equal energy exchange. It's, here's the role I play in your life, and here's the role you play in my life. And this is what we do for each other. And it's the give and the take, and the feeling the harmony between these relationships in our lives. And when we are now someone different, we have to maybe go and renegotiate, shift these dynamics that we have with other people, and allow that to. So if you're going through and you're experiencing, you're like feeling this kind of new version of you coming out, that can evoke some fear. Mars is in Cancer right now. That's another component that's alive in the astrological dynamics. And our emotions carry memory. And so we have a memory of being an old version of ourselves, the emotions. And when we step out into a new version where we're like, no, I'm going to be, I am going to step forward as, someone who is more social or more extroverted or more confident when they speak. It's like your emotional memory is like, what is you doing? This is... you crazy, like get back in the old pattern. And we're having to, and Mars is helpful here. Mars, we're feeling the emotions and reckoning with them. And it's like, we really can process and move and stand sure in this new sense of yourself that might be budding, as subtle as it might be in your life. Let that take place, and just know that part of this is overcoming and instilling a new emotional memory. And when we experience ourselves in a new way, and we're experiencing ourselves in the world in a new way, how the world reacts to us, how are other people going to react to us, we just really have this North Node essence of, I haven't ever done this before. This is new territory to me. And that's the path of the nodes, that the South Node showing our past and things we've done before and experienced areas of energy, while our North Node is inexperience, calling us into new territory, things we haven't done before, inherently inviting us to step into the unknown. There is that space here with eclipse season always. And so I really encourage you to flow with the currents and allow a new version of you to step out and work with the energy and, rewrite the memories of old emotions of who you used to be, and have the conversations with people, or let each other shift. That's another really beautiful thing about this eclipse season. Let other people step into a new identity. let them become a truer version of themselves, because that is the best for everyone. The truer we are to our hearts, the truer we are to ourselves, the more authentic we are, the healthier dynamics we're going to be able to create together and let each other, shift and change as we feel called. So to navigate this time, like self-empowerment, like keep that at the forefront, like empower yourself. And again, we don't have to go, there's always like extremes here where it's like, we don't have to steamroll people or have like an inflated ego and things like that, but we can encourage ourselves in this expression. We really can uh, build up some self-belief and some ability to instill this self-assertion that is Aries of, I am going to do this, and like cultivating that self-empowerment is going to help you navigate this current, as well as trusting that if your heart is calling you and you are feeling a soul tug right now to step into a new sense of self, that is so in harmony with where we're moving, and to trust that. It's going to be scary, and you might be like, how's it going to happen? What's going to happen in this inherent unknown space? But trust it. Like that's the beauty of this information I'm sharing you. This North Node is evolution and growth. It's for the best for everyone, no matter what happens, and like trust whatever happens with you doing this is going to just help you maybe take that leap of faith. If you are on that verge of maybe making a change, maybe it's a drastic change, and to really lean into that to navigate these next few weeks. And so if you are curious how this eclipse season affects you specifically, I have some resources to support you to explore your lunar nodes and your natal chart and your soul path to growth, and how that's being activated with the current planetary arrangements. And so all of those links are below. Thanks for watching today, and I'm so excited to see how we shift, see how we expand in this really exciting time of eclipse season.